Good morning. Namaste. This is Dr. Uma Keduvetan, Faculty of Agricultural and Veterinary Sciences, Jayoti Vidyapith Women's University, Jaipur. I am joining you with the next session in the Agricultural Microbiology Lab. So today we will be dealing with various types of media and their preparation. In the previous session, we have looked into all the equipments that will be commonly used and then gone into the principles and operations of the various instruments like microscope and autoclave and the various methods of sterilization that needs to be used in the lab. So now I hope that you are all well versed with the principles of sterilization and all. So in this session, we will be dealing with the preparation of media as such. So media is essentially something that provides the nutrients for the microorganisms to grow. It could be bacteria, it could be fungus, it could be actinomycetes, it could be anything. Any of the microorganisms that are of interest to us and we require to grow them, they will be the like the medium will be prepared according to the needs of those microorganisms. So what are the different types of culture media used in microbiology? So based on the consistency of the media, they have been divided into three. So there are solid media. So solid media contains a lot of gelling agents such as gelatin or agar. And then when we are using that, we can, so the advantage of, so they will be solid, and the advantage of using a solid media would be that you can very distinctly find the morphology, the colony characters of bacteria, and you can separate out mixed bacteria and then find different colonies of different morphological structures and textures, and thereby separate the bacteria. And so solid media is what is used for the isolation of bacteria as a pure culture, and agar is most commonly used to prepare solid media for bacteriological purposes. So what is agar? Agar is a polysaccharide extract that is obtained from seaweed. It is insoluble when it's cold, and once it has been heated, it will polymerize and become soluble. And then this polymer, once it like gets back to room temperature, it will gel and solidify the entire media alongside that. So that is the property of agar. And it is actually bacteriologically inert. That means that if you have only water and agar, then no bacteria is going to grow on that. And it remains solid at 37 degrees Celsius, and it's transparent. So whatever your medium components are, only that is going to give color to your medium. Agar is actually transparent in color. And then there are the liquid medias. So liquid media is essentially the solid media minus the agar. Then you have the liquid media. In that, the bacteria can move around. So you cannot isolate any colonies, but there will be abundant growth. And that is the advantage of liquid media. And then there is a semi-solid media. Now, the semi-solid media in normal solid media, we'll be using about 15 to 20 grams of agar. But in semi-solid media, we'll be using only about like a lesser consistency, like say about 5 grams of agar and 5 to 8 grams of agar. And then what happens is that the media will be semi-solid, like jelly-like consistency. And once you have this jelly-like consistency, it can be used for various purposes like studying the motility of bacteria, and also like there are these microaerophilic bacteria and then facultative aerobes, facultative anaerobes, obligate aerobes, and obligate anaerobes, which you would have studied in your microbiology course. So when you have this kind of organisms, they will need to move from like at the top there will be much more air supply, and at the bottom there will be much less air supply. So where they are colonizing, based on that we would be able to identify the requirement of air for a microorganisms, depending on where in the plate they will be colonizing on a soft agar plate. And this motility studies and this specific colonization in a plate studies, they are done using a semi-solid agar or a soft agar as it is called, because the normal agar would be much harder than the soft agar that is used. So once this will be the type of agar based on its consistency. Now, based on the chemical composition, there will be the routine laboratory media that will contain undefined compounds like peptone or yeast extract or beef extract. So they are all like of biological origin. You do not know what exactly is the composition of each and every one of the compounds present in those media, and they will vary from batch to batch, because yeah, you are obtaining a beef extract from beef, and so you cannot say that this batch of beef extract should be the same as that batch of beef extract, because the meat from which this was produced is not the same as the meat from which that batch is being produced. So there will be variation from batch to batch. Now, the other one based on the chemical composition is the synthetic media. And these are chemically defined media and prepared from very pure chemical substances, and they are used in research work where you need to identify the specific requirements of a microorganisms. Then there is a basal media and enriched media, selective media which will only allow for the growth of very selected kind of organisms, like if you are using cyclohexamide, it can prevent fungal growth, but it will not prevent bacterial growth. And then there are indicator media which will change color based on if a microorganism is growing and it is producing an acid, then the medium will change color from one color to another. And so under acidic conditions, it will be of a different color. Under alkaline conditions, it will be of a different color. So they are all the different kinds of media that are used in a microbiology laboratory. So over here, what is the objective? In this session, we will be preparing a nutrient media. So I'll give you the composition of a nutrient agar. So nutrient agar is consists of 3 grams per liter of beef extract, 5 grams per liter of peptone, then 5 grams per liter of sodium chloride, which will act as the buffering agent, or the salt that will maintain the osmolarity. Then there will be 15 to 20 grams of agar, and pH will be about 7 to 7.2. And that is what the composition of nutrient agar is. So if we are going into the preparation method, so we will first like in the first session itself, where we were going into the details of preparation of a media or the instruments that are to be used for the preparation of media, I had already told you that we first need to use a weighing balance and measure out the required quantity of chemicals. So if we are using a nutrient agar, then we will be measuring 3 grams of beef extract, 5 grams of peptone, 5 grams of sodium chloride, and 15 grams of agar, and they will all be kept aside. Now in a beaker, take about 700 ml of water, and to this add all these components and mix them properly without solidifying. So like sometimes what happens is the components, when they are touching water, they will immediately form a solid piece. Then it will need to be like stirred very rigorously. You will need to use a magnetic stirrer for a longer time in order to get it dissolved, but it should be completely solubilized. Now the agar is not going to be soluble, so add the agar at last only, once the entire media has been dissolved. After that, if you have a requirement for liquid media, that will be separated and the agar will be added to the rest only. Depending on the volume of the medium, we will decide the agar quantity to be taken, and that will be added. So now you have all the media has been prepared. Then adjust its pH to 7.7 to 7.2 using 1 molar HCl or 1 molar NaOH. These two solutions will be used in order to adjust the pH using a pH meter. Then make up the volume to 1000 ml after addition of agar, because agar will also add to the volume. So once the agar has been added, then add the and make up the volume. And once that is done, so this final step, yeah. Once this is done, transfer the entire contents, including the agar. If you are like preparing it for the first time and there is some amount of loss of the agar that is happening, like if you're mixing it well and then pouring, you won't have loss of agar. But otherwise, you could also either add agar at the last into the conical flask, or else take excess of agar so that it can account for the loss of the agar when you're transferring. So then prepare cotton plugs and cover the conical flask, autoclave it. So before autoclaving, please cover the cotton plugs with aluminum foil or paper, because otherwise water will settle in the cotton plugs and that can lead to contamination. Because wet cotton plugs will transfer the microbes from one end to another, because they can travel through the water. But if it's dry, then the cotton will act as filtering agent, and so bacteria in the air cannot enter into the medium. Now, once that is done, autoclave the medium. So in autoclaving, since this is nutrient agar, you do not have to think about any of the Maillard reactions. But if you are using a medium that contains added glucose, make sure that the glucose is always prepared as a stock solution of a higher concentration, so that like if you add 5 ml of glucose to this medium, once it is prepared and autoclaved, it will be done. Because under high heating conditions, like at this 121 degrees Celsius of autoclaving, glucose will react to the nitrogenous compounds and it will get caramelized or charred due to Maillard reaction. So always, if you are using glucose in your medium, autoclave it separately as a stock solution of say of higher concentration, and then add according to the requirement of the media. Once the autoclaving has been done, collect the medium and take it to the laminar airflow chamber, and over there we will be adding the medium. So, and once all the components have been added, you need to keep the cotton plug, wrap it, mark the tube, mark the conical flask, and then autoclave it. That will be the preparation of nutrient agar. Now, like what exactly is nutrient agar? So I haven't given you the principle of nutrient agar. No, it's one of the basal medium and it is used for maintaining microorganisms. So nutrient agar is basically something that can be used to grow multitude of microorganisms, starting with E. coli. Then it can be used to grow Pseudomonas aeruginosa, Salmonella typhi, Staphylococcus aureus, or like even the pathogenic bacteria like Yersinia or Salmonella enteritis or Salmonella typhimurium. All these can grow very well on nutrient agar. So that nutrient agar or nutrient broth, if you are removing the agar part, of the medium, if you're not adding the agar before autoclaving, then it becomes the nutrient broth. And this can grow very well in either nutrient agar or nutrient broth. Because as I told, the agar is not adding any nutritional value to your medium. It's only acting as a gelling agent. So if you are having a like a medium, the medium components for your nutrient medium is peptone, beef extract, and sodium chloride, and the pH adjustment, whatever has been done for that. So that is the only pH, the nutrients that are present for your bacteria to grow. But a wide variety of bacteria can grow very well on this nutrient agar or nutrient broth. So that is the essential steps for preparation of a nutrient medium, and this will be used in the further experiments for growing of microorganisms. Like you will be in the next session, there will be we'll be dealing with the enumeration of microorganisms, and then we'll be dealing with the isolation of microorganisms from various sources and all that. So in those we'll be requiring the medium to be used, and this nutrient medium, the broth or the agar, would come handy in that. There are other mediums also, like there is the blood agar and McConkey medium, and there are other so many types of medium that are available, but they will be used depending on the nutritional requirements of the organism that needs to be grown. Like I was saying that there are these different kinds of medium, like enriched basal media or enriched media, selective media, indicator media, and all that. So they will have like McConkey agar is a selective media, and then again blood agar is also an indicator media, because in blood agar, the bacteria which the species which can lyse the blood and use it for its nutrient will give clear zones around it, and that can be used as an indicator. So blood agar is an indicator media. So depending on the requirements, there will be multiple components that are added or removed from your medium while preparation of the medium. So that will all be depending on the need of what organism that you will be growing. So that will be all for this session. Thank you. Have a good day.